Mandalore. Greetings, programs, and welcome to Pop Culture Therapy. I'm your host, Loki, and today we're going to be talking about episode 2 of The Mandalorian, The Child. Yes, this chapter actually has a name, The Child. So, when we last left The Mandalorian, we found a little baby Yoda, a cute little baby Yoda. And I've gotten some blowback on my score for the very first episode of The Mandalorian. I gave it an 8.5, and I still stand by that score. But some people are like, Loki, how can you give The Mandalorian a good score when they have ruined Star Wars, when Disney has ruined Star Wars in the last 2 movies? I completely agree. I think that The Last Jedi sucks, and I think that Solo sucks. But this is my opinion on this show. It has nothing to do with the last 2 movies. I am not taking the last 2 movies into account when I'm reviewing this show. If something comes up in this show that ties it to The Last Jedi or Solo, then I will address that. I will. Have no fear. I will address that. But as of right now, this show has nothing to do with The Last Jedi or Solo. Yes, there are rumors that supposedly we will find out how the First Order was formed, and I think the First Order is completely stupid, and they still can't hit shit when they fire. So, stormtroopers have never been able to hit anything with their guns. They still can't hit shit. I have no idea how Alderaan was destroyed by the Death Star when stormtroopers seem to not be able to hit anything. Another thing, Doomcock, all hail Lord Doomcock, came out and completely obliterated this show. He gave it the good, the bad, and the ugly. I disagree with some of his points. Some of his points I agree with. But you see, that's why we do what we do. We are not always going to agree. I do not agree with everything Doomcock says. I am not a mindless minion. I follow him because I have a great respect for him, and I'm not a follower. I'm not someone who follows someone blindly. I'm not going to follow Doomcock blindly and agree with everything Doomcock says just because he's Doomcock. We agree to disagree. We are people, and that is one of our strengths, is that we can agree to disagree. I'm not going to lambaste everything Doomcock says in this video. He's not going to sit there and talk crap about me. Why? Because we respect each other's opinion. There are things we are going to disagree on. Now, on to the review. There will be spoilers here. So if you don't want to know what happens in episode 2 of The Mandalorian, stop listening now. I will give you just a second. All right, I've given you your second. Here we go. So the little baby Yoda, we have no idea what the name of the race is because they've never given us the name of the race. But the little baby Yoda is indeed a cutie. Throughout the whole episode, you get to learn a little bit about the baby Yoda. And the baby Yoda has some hidden talents. Of course, the baby Yoda is going to have some hidden talents. There is some protecting going on from the Mandalorian. Of course, the Mandalorian wants it as a bounty. One of the first big things that happen is a bounty hunter fight. Bounty hunters show up because they want the bounty on the cute little baby Yoda. So the Mandalorian takes care of business and defends the little baby Yoda. That night, while the Mandalorian is repairing his armor and trying to fix things, he's got a cut on the side of his arm. And the little baby Yoda gets out of the basket and is walking up to him with its hands stretched out like it's going to use the Force to fix him. It does not, sadly. So that morning they get back to the ship, and the bounty hunter's ship has been stripped by Jawas, and they're still there. And the Mandalorian pulls out his plasma rifle and starts disintegrating Jawas. And of course they're freaking out. They run back to their little ship, the Sandcrawler, and they haul ass out of there. He ensues chase. The little basket is floating behind the Mandalorian. Mandalorian gets on the Sandcrawler, and the Jawas end up hitting him with ion blasts and knocking him off the Sandcrawler. we go back and we meet Nick Nolte's character again. And he tells him, well, we're just going to have to deal with the Jawas, you know. And the Mandalorian's going, deal, I do not deal. Well, we're going to have to trade with the Jawas. So they go to the Jawas, and of course the Jawas are like, ooh, TD, and pull out all their guns, and they're pointing them at the Mandalorian. It's funny. I thought this episode was humorous. I thought there was some humor in this episode. And he ends up having to make a deal. And at the end of the day, they want the little Yoda, but they're willing to deal with something else. So they tell him, we want the egg. The egg. We want the egg. So you got to go get us this egg. And he goes and he ends up having to fight this monster. And I'll tell you what, monster kicks the shit out of the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian looks like he got put through a can opener. His armor's all messed up. He's messed up. He's about to die. The monster is going to kill the Mandalorian when the little baby Yoda raises his hand up and makes the monster float off the ground. He stops the monster in its tracks and levitates it. And the Mandalorian has just enough time to kill the monster and save his life and the life of the little baby Yoda. And he knows now. The Mandalorian knows. He walks back up to the basket. The little Yoda's drained of all its power and is just laying there knocked out. But he knows that the little baby Yoda just saved his ass. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he deals with this. Can he turn this little baby Yoda that just saved his life into the bounty hunter or the guild so that he can get his Beskar, a ton of Beskar metal. He's able to take the egg. He goes in the cave and gets the egg, the monster's egg, and takes it to the Jawas. And the Jawas, without blinking, cut that fucking egg open and eat the egg. That's what they wanted it for. They're all scrambling around the egg, getting handfuls of egg like it's candy and eating the egg. It was silly. And there's some silly parts. I'm glad they're not taking this too seriously. Because I think if they took it way too seriously, it would be boring. There's some soft points in this episode. There's some softness with the Mandalorian and Yoda, the little baby Yoda, and there's some humor. I love the humor in it. So, to me, it's all good. The music is wrong. They get this beat going, and to me, it's like I'm watching a Rocky movie. And it's like, okay, where's the 80 montage with Rocky training next to Apollo Creed? I think the music's wrong. I'm not sold on the music. I don't think I'll ever be sold on the music. And that's disappointing. I liked the stuff they did in the Clone Wars. I liked the music they did in the Clone Wars. So what if it was a cartoon or not? It was still a good show. And I liked Rebels. I liked everything they did in Rebels and Clone Wars. I'm just not liking the music here. So I'm around an 8. I think these episodes are going way too fast. I think they're going way too fast. I think we're going to blink and the show's going to be over. And there's going to be things that we could have got that we didn't get. I really, at 37 minutes an episode, it's gonna fly by. It could have been a mini-series is what it could have been. It could have been a 2-part mini-series. We're gonna blink and it's gonna be over. So my score for this episode's an 8. I think the first episode was better. I definitely laughed a lot more during the first episode, and I enjoyed myself more in the first episode. But this is a good episode. There's nothing wrong with this episode. I just don't like the music. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Leave me a message. Leave me a message in the comments. Let me know. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. If you don't, I completely understand. You know, it's your opinion. If you don't agree with me, it's your opinion. This is my opinion. I'm not going to change it for anybody. I'm not going to change it for Lucasfilms. I'm not going to change it for the fandom. This is how I feel. So, I will catch you guys on the next Pop Culture Therapy.